Robyn Valentine. How was your 2024?
Actually, okay.
What's it?
How was yours? Yeah, it was good. We had our bad parts. I mean, but that's being human. Haha, surprise. Being alive is miserable. But 2024 was good, actually. I did a lot of fun
Welcome
stuff.
to my show
Yeah.
for the very first time.
I know. For the very first time ever in the history of this show.
For the very first time ever in the history of this show. Technically, yes.
Technically, yes.
So,
So,
for people who don't know you and what it is that you do, tell people who you are and all of that stuff.
I am a supreme overlord. Many have said in the past that I'm the most powerful person alive, which is really, it's a lot of pressure on me.
Was this
Better
just
looking than
multiple
you.
Chat GPT bots? Was this
Yeah, I
just
typed
like
it in, and it says, hold on, it says dash. It continues with a bunch of stuff because I didn't actually do that. No, my name is Robyn Valentine. I am on witchcraft, tarot, and just stuff.
ghosts,
Yeah,
weirdness,
ghosts,
high
ghost
strangeness?
stories. Yeah, and it's fun. We just closed season 5, which is
Aw,
I can't believe
you're
it's
still
been 5
baby
years.
podcasters to me.
Yeah, whatever. So yeah, we just closed season 5, and we are very blessed to be in a position where we are relatively successful in our niche. Yeah, and I'm also an author.
You are an author of multiple books.
Which is, if you've ever seen it was Twitter, then it was X, now it's Threads, and sometimes Blue Sky.
Ugh.
You would not believe that because
I don't
I've got
believe it.
I got a little thing where I just tippity tip tap type, and I do not proofread shit.
You have a casual relationship with the English language, the likes of which I think has never been seen.
As a woman.
You're right. You know what? You are an excellent example of why writers have editors.
Yes.
And why we love our copy editors.
Listen,
we love our copy editors.
I'm working on my third book, and I'm choosing to go the self-publishing route this time. And the first thing I said when discussing these plans with my husband was, I have to budget for an editor.
Yeah, big budget.
I was like, possibly.
We're gonna have to take a second mortgage out on the house for that.
We're gonna need some top-notch editors because hold a gun to my head, and that shit is gonna be.
But the material is excellent. The material.
Dawn's read some of my third manuscript. The material is good.
The material is so good.
The grammar is living
nigh unreadable.
It's on its own plane of existence.
It's a vibe.
The grammar is on a vibe, and
it's a vibe.
You're either on my vibe or you're not on my vibe. And if you're not on my vibe, I don't know that I want you reading my book.
Speaking of things on and off one's vibe, 2024, we have gathered here today on this
year of our Lord Chapel Roan, and
the year of our Sabrina Carpenter on Chapel Roan's internet. We have gathered to burn 2024 to the ground. We are going to analyze and pick apart every conceivable aspect of it that we can think of. This is a light, breezy, airy, very under.
He brought me on here to be the comic, the comedic humor of 2024 because I don't take anything seriously, and he knows that.
True. This is true. In the spirit of a 2024 burn down countdown, baby, let's start off with something light. What was your favorite movie and maybe also TV show of the year?
Okay, so anybody who knows anything about me knows that I live, breathe, and die for reality television, okay? Listen, the thing is that I was born in a trash can, and like the little raccoon that I am, I'm going to stay there. I'm not above.
I cannot wait till you get your Christmas card. I'm not
above consuming reality television. I'm just not. So this year, my husband and I, because he...
I'm sorry to cut you off. I will vouch for your reality TV bona fides. The number of times when I've had to message you and say, who is this person and why do I care? when somebody's like name is trending and it's like taken over the entire internet, and you will just send me back like a 25-minute long voice note.
Dawn one time asked me mistakenly, why is Trisha Paytas famous? And I was like, buckle in, big guy. I all but brought out a PowerPoint starting back from like 2012.
Okay, to be fair,
when she said, do dogs have brains?
That explanation required multiple very long voice notes, several text messages, and I think at least one video call where you did like have to hold something up and explain it to me. So maybe not a PowerPoint, but a very close simulacrum of that.
And if we're being very honest, did you know afterwards why Trisha Paytas?
Yeah, I feel like famous? I have a working knowledge of all Trisha's Paytas.
Yeah. I mean, we were breaking down when she was on I'm Addicted.
You know what's so funny is I saw somebody make like a joke video of like, I don't care about this streaming service or that streaming service. Like, I don't want this breakdown or that breakdown. My entertainment, it was this girl on TikTok. She was saying, my entertainment, my comfort viewing is coming home, getting my Kraft mac and cheese, turning on YouTube and watching the beef between Jason Charles, something Charles. Who's the kid?
Oh,
makeup
James Charles.
Yes, James Charles.
The pedophile, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But she's like,
Can I say that on this podcast? I mean, he basically is.
She's like, my comfort show is watching the YouTube beef from 2016 between James Charles and between these two people. She's like, that's my entertainment. And I'm like, that is Robyn Valentine. That is Robyn Valentine's. She will go back and watch like beef.
A fun fact about me is if you haven't watched the VH1 reality Love specific, not their like charm school, although that was still good, and not like what was the other one? I Love Money. No. The dating shows specifically from 2006 to 2009. If you haven't watched them and you want to be my friend, figure it out. You need to watch that stuff because I refer back to it more times than I ever wanted to admit ever in my life. I recently had somebody from Rock of Love on our show because she is, although yes, that's something she did in the past, she is somebody who has a master's, I believe, in mythology. And so she came on to talk about Medusa and the lore in Medusa. Really amazing episode. But the entire time I was texting Dawn and being like, I'm trying so hard to be cool right now, but all I want to be like is go, and that really turns me on. And that's all I wanted to say to her for everything that she said. And of course I didn't, because that would not be professional, but I did internally think it a lot.
Okay, so my husband and I constantly refer back to A Shot at Love with Tila Tequila.
Which is constantly. MTV. Yeah. That's not VH1.
Yeah, I know.
And that was like, despite the fact that Tila Tequila, you're getting me started. Despite the fact that Tila Tequila has grown up to be a Nazi fascist lunatic, that show it literally changed television.
Oh, it was groundbreaking.
It was groundbreaking. And people now who weren't like there watching it at the time don't realize like how groundbreaking that show was. So we've got super sidetracked on this, but my favorite show of the year, like all of this is to say, my husband and I have gotten super into watching 90 Day Fiancé, which I've always done, but this is 90 Day Fiancé UK. And somehow, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because they have accents.
Is it because of the state of the country and you're looking for easily marriage?
Perhaps.
Easily marriageable passport holders.
But I have found myself so enamored with 90 Day Fiancé UK. And I think a big part of it is because I feel as though the regular franchise has been ruined by Big Ed and Gino. And I know that means nothing to you, but maybe your listeners will know what I'm talking about and agree with me heavily.
Okay. Mine are very different. Mine are...
You're going to say something stupid and intellectual like, well, I've actually been watching a documentary on why business is booming in Uganda. I don't fucking know. Something like that. That's what you're going to say. You're going to say something intellectual, and it's going to be so dumb. Go on. Tell us your smart boy thinking.
My favorite TV shows of the year were 2 different animes.
Okay.
The first one is called Frieren after Journey's End. Beyond Journey's End. Frieren, whatever. And it's like, okay, so imagine if like Lord of the Rings had been told from the perspective of Legolas, who's like this nigh immortal elf. So the time when he's defeating Sauron with the hobbits and all of that is like a weekend to him. It's just like nothing.
Right.
And then life, obviously, for him will go on for many, many, many years. Yeah, continue. So this is sort of like that in the sense that it follows Frieren, who is this very old elven mage who has been around for 1,000 years or more. She joins a party, saves the world. That takes up 10 years of time. But to her, that's like a weekend. That's like a casual Tuesday. Like it was just something for her to do. And then the rest of that's like episode 1. The rest of the show is like what it looks like to continue living a life. And it's this beautiful, funny, heartwarming,
intellectual bullshit. Oh, look at me.
It's this like beautiful meditation on like memory and legacy and
about life and living and being a person. Meanwhile, I'm like, yeah, this dude 100% was catfishing her. he never showed up.
My other favorite TV show is an anime. It's a newer one. It's called Dan. And it's sort of like if the X-Files and Stranger Things had an Akira baby. Did you ever see Akira? Okay. Yeah, so it's still going on. There's new episodes being released weekly. I'm obsessed. Also, it has one of those intros that's sort of like the animated X-Men cartoon. Like you just don't ever skip. You don't skip this intro. Like it's just like
it's so good.
It's a sick beat.
Okay.
As Taylor Swift would say.
I'll look into it.
Dan. It's so good.
I did also watch a lot of documentaries.
We also were talking about favorite movies, and I did just want to mention, I feel like this was a year where we got permission to like return to rom-coms. And I did go back and look at my own ticket purchasing history, and even though this technically came out in December of last year, we didn't watch it until January of this year, and it was Anyone But You.
Okay.
The rom-com with Sydney Sweeney and I don't know, what's his name? Generic hot white man. It was just fun. It was just fun. It was just fun.
They're fun. Like the thing is,
I know.
Are so mean about rom-coms, and I think that's
I don't get it. Yeah, I think they hate women and they hate joy. Like everything has to be dead serious. Yeah. I'm like, give me a dozen $20 million rom-coms. Like, I want some low stakes. Like ever since the election, we have just been like
that's
Hallmark.
Why I like reality TV. I want low stakes. I want no thoughts.
Yeah, but then these are real people.
Ugh.
And I just like when they do dumb things, I'm like, oh, but a writer didn't write that. You said that, and that makes me. I know.
True. That's valid, and that is part of why I can't do some of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some of them, I'm never going to be able to do.
Say, listen. I can't sit here on my high horse and pretend I don't watch reality TV. We just don't watch I
watch Selling Sunset, and I watch Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I am such a Selling Sunset girly.
I watch Love is Blind. That is our crossroad. You and I watch Love is Blind.
We do watch Love is Blind. I couldn't get through this most recent season, I will say. I didn't even get out of the pods. Like
either. We watched we didn't get out of the pods. We made it through one half of one episode in Mexico. I
might have gotten to wherever they go after Mexico or wherever.
I was like, you know what? I think that this is it for me.
You know what? I have all of the information about these people that I need. I have all of it. I'm good.
And like the thing is that I have children, so these are not shows that are appropriate to watch around kids. So this is something I have to
What are you
watch.
talking about? I watch this with my 9-year-old niece all the time.
And so it's something that I have to watch with my husband after bed, but then again, or after they go to bed, but then again, because we have kids, that also means a lot of us, like, we both have to catch up on work and stuff first, right? And so we maybe get like 1 or 2 episodes of whatever we're watching a week. That's it. And my problem is that I was already not loving these people, and then the internet was spoiling it because they can't help themselves.
Well, that was the thing, is that I started watching and I was like, oh, I see where this is going. And this isn't even entertaining enough for me to watch it turn into a bonfire. Like, it's not even, like, there's not even enough. There's not a high enough high that the low is going to feel satisfying to watch as a narrative. It's just, because the problem is so many of those Netflix reality shows. There was Love Is Blind. There's also one called The Circle.
Watched that too.
There was one other one where we're sexy and we can't kiss.
Oh,
what's that called?
Too Hot to Handle.
Yeah, that. Okay. We're sexy and we can't kiss. Love Is Blind and The Circle all had really interesting first seasons. Some of them had really interesting second seasons because nobody knew, like, the people coming in didn't know what the show was. So it could be I mean, you know me and my weird nerd brain. I looked at them like they were really interesting sociological experiments. I think, especially The Circle, that first season, there was like that.
So good.
That one woman who like catfished as like a white woman or something, or like a white man. I forget. But like, it was just such an interesting, like, oh God, now you're going to make fun of me. But it's just like this interesting treatise on like, who we want to make fun of, like, you. Who we are and how we want to be seen and like all of that. And it's just so fascinating to me.
And also like how we can view somebody if we were to see them through a different light and the biases that come with that.
Yes.
And
like all
it
of
was
the
really interesting.
Yeah. The crappy things that we say to people and the way that gets forgiven if you look a certain way or if people think that you look a certain way and the kinds of things that you can get away with. But on the flip side, if people think that you look like a cute little mom, they're the kind of stuff they're happy and willing to say to you and the kinds of openness that, like, it's just. But so all of those shows had such interesting first and second seasons that, like, I kept watching and I'm like, oh, now that everybody's in on it, it's not,
not only that, but Love Is Blind. And I will preface this by saying I recognize
I held
that
on to Love Is Blind for several seasons.
Me too. And I recognize that what I'm about to say is enjoying something that is not ethical. And that's why they don't do it anymore. Okay. So I want to preface that. But part of what made the first 2 seasons good was that if they proposed, they made them go all the way to the altar. And they had to have this, like, because, like, you and I are both married. And as we both know, marriage has really hard parts. And even when you're not married, relationships that are long-term, they have hard parts, and it's how you navigate it. And now we have these relationships that I'm just not as attracted to you as I thought I would be. So I dip. And I don't like that. And it's like, but the thing is,
you know what? I thought it was going to be okay that you're 5'6", but like, I just can't get over it. I'm like, oh my God, is that the worst problem in your life?
Yeah, and to me, it shows a direct contradiction of the show's, like, intention.
So, and what's so funny is I liked Love Is Blind as a premise because my husband and I met online back in the early days of internet dating, when it's like AOL Instant Messenger and like 56K modem and like sending one good photo that you can't Photoshop, like the one good like photo that you scanned. You had to scan a photo.
Or like the early days of the iPhone where we had, I don't remember what
I didn't even have, we met pre-iPhone. We are old.
You're barely older than me, but there was an app on the iPhone, the first iPhone. I forget what the app is called. And it would like do that, like,
hipster
effects.
Love.
I lived for it. I lived
lived
for
for
it.
hipsta. I
I
thought that I looked
lived for it.
so good.
Me too. And looking
Ugh.
back, I'm like, well, the body is banging, but
Do you
that's about
remember? Oh God, do you remember how peak Photoshop was the Valencia filter? Ooh.
yes. Oh
Ooh.
my God. No, we can't even. The other day, I don't know if you've caught up on my podcast yet, but Maria admitted that she's still using Photoshop CS7, and the way it upset me to my core. I was like, Maria, are you kidding with me? They stopped selling that in 2012. I was like, girl,
I I edit
we
this
are
podcast.
artists.
I
I was
edit
like,
this
we are
podcast on
artists.
GarageBand. I
Yeah, but
I
that's GarageBand is still something that comes out new with
yeah,
new computers.
that's true. That's true.
CS7, they stopped allowing you to download it at all as a old version like 3 years ago. Like, girly pop, please be so for real.
Oh God. Okay. Let's go to a question. Let's go to a instead of a best of. What is one small, unimportant thing that you would like society to leave behind in 2024? Small, tiny
So
thing
this
at
is
a
minuscule.
societal level.
This is minuscule, okay?
Yes.
And I'm going to preface this by anything you want to do with your own body that makes you feel good, I think you should do it. And if you think I'm
I'm
about to
doing it
say
right
something,
now.
if you think that I'm about to say something that you don't agree with, that is so valid, and I think you should keep doing it, okay? But we need to end the war on Cupid's bow. Cupid bow, the little part of the lip liner that goes over where we have erased our Cupid's bow, it has to stop. Cupid's bow are so cute. They're so cute. I think they make people look so defined and beautiful. It makes lips look so interesting. The war on the Cupid's bow must end.
I hear you and I agree. I think that the culprit is twofold. I think that Kylie Jenner did it for the straight girls. And then once straight girls found out that drag queens are really good at makeup advice, I think they took Trixie's overlap. I think they took the clownish,
No,
and
I
I'm
agree.
saying that in the art form of clown,
No, I
like
agree.
the clownish type of makeup that drag queens
And then
do
they've
where the lips are
applied it to
overlined and
everyday
exaggerated.
life.
And they don't realize that like that is not an everyday look. That
Right.
is
And if
you
you
are
want to
under a
go out
light.
to dinner or you want to go to the club like that, I respect it. I think that's great. That's cute. That's fun. Okay. When I look back on the things I did in the club when I was 21, 22, because yes, I used to go to clubs. I know, hard to believe, but I did. And
I never
some of
made a
those
bad decision in the
things,
club.
I made so many bad choices in the club, and we're gonna leave it on that because this is being recorded.
I used to wear a tie as a belt. Oh, I was that gay. I used to wear a tie as a belt. And I was in the era of
You
like
know
you get
what,
like a
Don?
black tee and you do a
I want you to hold my hand when I say this, okay? Not everything needs to go on the internet, and that was one of them. That was something you
I
should have
was so
kept.
proud when I
Put it back in the
discovered
closet. Actually, I'd like you to put that exact thought, that memory, just back in the closet.
I was so proud when I discovered bleach pens and black tank tops. Like
No.
like drawing stuff on a
No.
black tank top and
Oh,
like using
no.
a bandana, and like a leather cuff and
Remember
like a
those
hip
dresses
chain and
that
like
layered straps all the way
yeah,
down them? Do you remember that? I had like 6 of those.
those the rubber band shirts.
Mhm.
The rubber band dresses. Oh God, BCBG was so big with those. That was like their whole thing was the band dress.
Mhm. I also was a Jeffrey Campbell connoisseur. And I know that you're going to know the exact ones that I'm talking about because these were really big in like 2010. It was the platform, the big, thick chunk platform with like the
Brat
wooden
stall.
heel.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
I
Oh God.
had.
Oh God. And the straps usually had like studs on the side. I feel like those were people that wanted to buy Jessica Simpson heels but didn't for some reason.
Wrong. Those were for people like me who would go to hip hop clubs and know none of the songs. That's what they were. I went to hip hop clubs because that's where all my friends went. right? That's what they want it to be. But then, like, if I pick somewhere, I was in like Demonias, which are like the big chunky goth boot, and we go to the dungeon in San Francisco, and none of my friends knew any of those songs, and so those were what I would wear when I was like doing normal girl things. When I was like being normal. Those are my normal girl shoes. I was just like, I'm just a regular girl.
Okay, my homosexual version of that were Fry boots. Mm-hmm. Do you remember when Fry boots like took over the scene in the early 2000s? So I needed a pair of Fry boots. I recall.
Yep.
They were like $300. That was the most expensive thing I had ever purchased for myself at the time. Really great boots. I mean, they're great. Fry is a great leather, like it's a great brand. Yeah. Here's my problem. I wear at least, depending on the brand, a 13.
Same. Me too. I'm
also at least an American male 13. I needed these boots. We were not doing online shopping then. We really were not trusting the internet. We were going to the Buckle. We were going to the Buckle.
I remember when Amazon like kind of started.
It was still just books.
And,
like Amazon was still like mostly just books.
And I remember being like, I'm not so sure, guys, but this Amazon.
I'm gonna give the internet. I'm gonna give the internet my credit card information. Oh, sure. I'm buying something on the internet. Sure.
Remember, I got a bunch of Manic Panic that I couldn't find other places on Amazon, and I
bet you still have it.
And then it actually showed up. Like it actually showed up, and I was like, you guys, I think this Amazon thing is really going to take off.
I don't remember. Okay. Anyways, so I was still buying shoes at like the Buckle and whatever that other like shoe store in the mall was. The Buckle. God, I love the Buckle.
You went to the mall.
My first credit card was to the Buckle. My first credit card was to the Buckle.
I was Victoria's Secret.
God, such mall kids. And they had the Fry boots in stock. They did not have my size. Now,
did you have to order them in?
No. This story gets so bad. So bad. You are going to be. But I need you to remember that I was young.
Yeah, I've seen your Frappuccino pictures. You know how they explained it to me.
I was gay, and I was just finding out that I was pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because I had grown up thinking I was hideous. So I
might be right there. I'm just saying.
I wanted to go to the club and I wanted to have the hot shoe, right? And like I thought this square toe Fry boot with the little leather straps around it. Oh God, if I wear that to the club, I'm going to be the hottest guy there. So if you'll recall, what size did I say that my shoe was?
13. What size did you buy, Dawn?
11 and a half.
And how did that work out for you, my love?
So leather stretches, unfortunately, which meant that I had a false sense of security that I could wear these.
Oh no.
I wore them to college. I was in college. I wore them to school. I was walking across campus and just between classes developed such awful blisters that I had to take them off in the middle of Marshall University. Like right outside, right next to that vagina statue. The vagina fountain. I had to peel those off and ask for a piggyback because I could not walk.
No, you did not.
I could not walk, and my friend Annie carried me.
That is, first of all,
but can I tell you,
what a friend.
I learned the secret of putting on thick socks and sticking your boots in a bucket of warm water and stretching them out because I had paid $300 for these boots and I had already worn them and I couldn't return them, or at least I didn't think I could.
Well, you bled in them, so probably.
Severely bled in these.
I love that your homosexual audacity told you that you could wear shoes that were in 1.5 sizes too small.
Yeah. Yes.
When I first learned how to stretch out leather, it was because there was a boy and I really wanted to impress him. And again, I'd like you to reflect back to young Robyn and the Demonia boots. Okay, we just mentioned those. If anybody knows what those are, they've made a comeback with the quote unquote emo girls. We would have called them goth when I was young, but I digress. They made a comeback, but I wanted to impress a guy. And the guy was not into goth
There has
girls.
never been a guy worthy of impressing.
Well, tell that to 19-year-old Robyn. So he was punk, and I was like,
did you do ballet?
I was like, I can be punk too. And he invited me to a ska show in Sebastopol.
That's not punk. Ska's not punk. Oh, God.
I know that ska's not punk, but he would have fit the physical attire profile of somebody who was a punk.
Was was it like Avril Lavigne punk? Like, was it tank top,
no, it was
necktie?
real punk. It was like grunge punk. It was like the man smelled.
Okay.
Ew. Like, he was gutter punk. Anyway,
gutter punk.
Again, I digress. Okay. I bought a pair of Doc Martens with no previous knowledge of DMs. Okay.
Oh,
no
Doc Martens, man.
And I wore no socks with them because I was disgusting, and it was like 2009, 2008. And the way I ruined my feet in those shoes, I still have them because I couldn't return them because I bled in them.
Yeah.
And I bled in them so much.
Yeah. My small thing, and I know that this is going to sound like a big thing, but I feel like in society today, I'm not asking for much. I just... Hey, Robyn, do you remember the pandemic? Do you remember...
Barely.
Do you remember 6 feet of distance, like in lines and like at the gym and just in society in general, and how quickly we let that go, even though we all said we liked it? I would just I'm not even asking for 6 feet at all times. Stop crowding my ass, man. I
wish I could, baby. I wish I could. I wish I could.
I'm just asking for society, just a small thing.
I wish I could, but that ass is fire. Am I right? He's doing the squats.
Do you have to stand so close to me? We're gonna get coffee at the same time. The amount of standing close to me is not gonna change when we both get coffee.
Well, if you don't want that to happen to you, maybe, you should think about how you dress. I'm just saying, you asked for it. You know what I mean? There's a joke, by the way.
I'm going to clip that out. I'm going to clip that out. I'm going to clip that out.
Where somebody gets all in my DMs telling me to
I just want us all to be like, you know what? Crowding one another doesn't make anything happen faster. In fact, oftentimes it makes everything happen a little slower. Yeah. Could you just chill? Could you just step back? Yes, that's all I want.
Well, you're too close to me.
Yeah. I do remember.
People have smelly butts. It is. They're always the stinkiest people, and you're just like, if anyone should be giving someone 6 feet, it's you, big guy. It's you, big guy. When was the last time you took a shower? Have you heard of Axe?
Ew.
Perhaps a little Old Spice? I don't know what they're using these days. My husband uses unscented Castile soap. Okay? So,
wow.
Yeah. He likes those pheromones to be pheromoning, which is not true. It's because he wears Tom Ford Black Orchid perfume, cologne, and he doesn't want anything to ruin the notes because he's insane.
Books. Did you read any good books this year, Robyn Valentine?
I did. So a fun fact about me is I'm
Ice Barbarians from the Planet.
First of all, I read every single Ice Planet Barbarian last year, so have a word with yourself. We're talking about 2024.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Your 22-minute download voice note to me is just so present. It's just so forward in my mind that it feels like just yesterday.
About the giant blue alien cock. I don't know what you want from me.
And folks, I need you to know that this voice note exists, and it's just like a podcast episode, just living in my phone that I can pull up at any time that I ever want to go down the extensive history of Ice Planet Barbarians from the planet Vagina.
Don't ever give me your phone number because you will get podcasts from me.
You will get podcasts.
Things I'm thinking about.
Okay, sorry, your book. I apologize.
Yes, you should apologize. first and foremost, the first best book of the year is The Witch's Apprentice by a little-known author, Robyn Valentine. She's very hot, very cool, very fun. No, I'm just kidding. That's for children. Don't read that book, you weirdo. I read this year 72 books.
Oh,
and
fuck you.
I'm a grandma. Listen, I got a baby. I'm nursing in bed at 6 o'clock and I can't leave. What else am I going to do? Other than watch reality TV. So my favorite books of the year, first of all, the first one was Slewfoot. I told you that. I don't know if it
Oh,
came out
yeah,
this
I keep
year.
meaning to read that. I've heard great things.
I'm not sure if it came out this year, but I read it this year.
No, it's old. It's been out for a while.
Okay. Somebody recommended
That's
it.
by Brahm, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. And I really, really enjoyed that book. That was super delicious. The Goodreads reviews, though, were a little unhinged. I would like everyone to remember when reading a nonfiction book, a fiction book, is that it is not true. It's made up. And of course, it's not historically accurate because the woman is a witch and the man is Satan.
Are you
So
saying that
perhaps,
witches aren't real, Robyn Valentine, a tired witch on Instagram?
not like they were so mad that puritanical colonists were not accurately depicted, and I'm like, it's a fiction. Yeah, it's a fictional book. The woman also lives to be like 300 years old, and just maybe we just relax a little bit.
Well, that's how old you are.
Well, yeah, but not everybody has the same perfect genes as me, so sorry. My other favorite book read of the year was a book called Phantasma. This is for my romance girlies and guys and thems. My romance people, okay? When I say girlies, I mean everyone. Phantasma was a romance book that was like paranormal, but it was a very unique story, and I could not put it down. I read 500 pages in 2 days because I could not put this book down.
And it's romance?
It is, yeah. But it's like soft romance. It's not like Ice Planet. It's not erotica. It's romance. Like, but it also is like mystery and horror and.
Do we call that is that fade to black? Is that where it's not present on the page, but it's heavily implied that people kiss at some point?
Oh no. Oh no. It's included. It's just like, see, this is what tells me that you've never read smut. And I know you've read romance.
I'm not shy about this. It's not a for me most of the time. It's not a for me.
But in romance there can be erotica. That can exist.
Yes.
But that is like barely a subplot in romance, right? In smut, the romance is the subplot and the fucking is the plot.
Yeah, I'm good. It can be in there. It's just not a for me.
I want to hear someone say, how is that going to fit inside of me within 20 pages of a book? I don't care who that someone is, okay? I'm not picky. What I don't like is Omegaverse. I think Omegaverse is the worst. I know you don't know what that is. It is.
No, so I made friends with the author Kayla Ankrum this year, and she sat in my kitchen and slowly, methodically explained to my husband and I what the Omegaverse is and the difference in the like social and cultural politics of queer Omegaverse versus straight Omegaverse, and like the reclamation of gender and the interesting conversation around like gender dynamics and expectations and stuff when queer people write Omegaverse versus when straight people write Omegaverse. I love learning about it. I've not partaken because again, it's not a for me thing, and that's fine. Not everything is for everybody. Not yucking any ums. I love that that's out there. I love learning about it. I think it's so cool, and I think I have all of the information I needed.
If I pick up a book and I think it's just like a normal smut, and somebody starts talking about alpha, betas, and omegas, I'm like, I gotta go. My brain is not cultured enough for this.
Unless they're frat guys.
Even if they're frat guys, it's not.
You know, the alpha, beta, omegas.
Yeah, no, it's not for me. It's not for me. I actually usually going off the frat thing, don't like it because they're a little too young.
Well, yes.
They're a little too, like, I'm reading this because I want to hear all about your massive member and going, how are we going to get that inside? Let's find out. I don't want to hear about a 21-year-old man. Does he even have
I
pubic
also
hair
do
yet?
not.
I don't know.
I don't
want
either.
to know.
No, not unless like I'm reading like I'm or I'm engaging with the text knowing that it's not for me, but that like young adult. Like I write young adult, so therefore I read young adult. But I also am not engaging with the text like wanting it to be for me, a 30-something-year-old man. I am understanding that this text is written for a 13-year-old. So I am meeting it where it is. So like if I read a story, if I read a novel that is with a bunch of early 20s characters, I am understanding automatically that a lot of this is not for me.
I enjoy the young adult genre as well.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as sex starts happening in the young adult genre, do I know that like teenagers and young people have sex? Of course I do. I'm not a fucking Puritan. I literally just talked about blue alien penis. Okay? But it makes me feel uncomfortable because I feel like that's not something for me. Do you know what I mean? Like that's
no, I get that. I get that. Yeah, I totally get that, and I respect adults that don't want to read that. I'm just glad that like
no, I'm glad
stories like that exist because kids that age process those big subjects on the page.
Not erotica, but not
right.
Erotica.
Yeah. Oh, it's totally not. Yeah.
Kids. It's gonna fuck up a bit. Trust me. I read Anne Rice at 12. Look at me. Okay. I'm not doing great.
I would like to apologize in advance for the books that I'm going to talk about because there are no.
You're gonna be so smart.
There are
the NPR breakdown of the sociological impacts of boys versus girls on the battlefield. I don't know. You're gonna say something really stupid and annoying.
So I would just like you to know that my sociological texts that I've read are all for books that I'm writing. So I'm not including those in my best of this year. Those are for work,
and I don't include them mine either. Okay, I also read smart people books this year. Also,
I don't include research books in pleasure reading. So I need to apologize up front. I don't have any books where anybody says, how are we going to fit that in there? So
how are we going to fit that in there? I don't know, lady. Let's find out.
I also wouldn't have any, you know what? I take that back.
I take that back. Where there was something where they were like,
there might be. I do have 2 on the list that might fit that, but there are no ladies involved. There are no ladies involved.
Fine.
Okay.
And I also read one of those.
So the first is A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. I was told this one felt like research, but I was in the editing process for Verity Vox at the time, and I was just wanting to read something that felt like just a different take on fantasy, just like just a unique. And I had been told that T. Kingfisher is just a phenomenal voice as T. Kingfisher. So this was my intro to T. Kingfisher, and I ended up reading multiple T. Kingfisher books, and all of them are stellar. I read Nettle and Bone. I read some other new release that I bought, and it's
was
here.
One of my favorite T.K. Fisher books.
Yeah. So I loved it, but this was the first one. It was fun. It was interesting. She has like magic that's specifically baking based, where she like can control anything that she has baked or that is dough based. And it was so unique. She defends a kingdom with bread. And that's just cool. Like giant, like bread giants. I thought that was really fun. The next one that I want to talk about is a collection of poetry.
Oh, here we go, everyone. Here we go. Go on. Tell us about your poetry. Tell us about your books.
But you know what? You know what? Screw you. Poetry doesn't get enough love. Ha. I read a lot of poetry this year. I read more poetry this year than I've read in a lot of years past, which felt really good. The best collection that I have read this year that has stayed with me, and I've gone back to reread it multiple times, which is rare for me, is called Above Ground by Clint Smith. It is.
Some of his stuff.
phenomenal writing. Just that opening poem talks about like the anxiety of being a person in the modern day and like being a parent and having to deal with like a 24-hour news cycle, but like also living like a day-to-day mundane life, and the fact that we all still have to carry on even though it feels like the world is burning around us and stuff. But like there's some really funny, really beautiful stuff in there about him becoming a father and like the funny things that kids say and the funny ways that we become our parents. And then there's some like really gripping stuff in there about race and about the justice system and about the world around us and about as a person dealing with anxiety. And I don't know, it just check. It was such a brilliant collection, and I cannot it for me was as good as last year whenever I got to read Andrea Gibson's Lord of the Butterflies. Oh my God, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't stop recommending it to people. But Above Ground by Clint Smith really just did. Okay, KJ Charles writes gay romance. Okay. And I asked the internet, I said, you know what? I love Bridgerton. I do, but I need gay Bridgerton. And this was before the new season came out. And we found out, spoiler, that there is a Bridgerton boy who kisses boys. He's not going to end up with a boy, I don't think, but he does at least kiss boys, which was something. But I was told, if you would like Bridgerton, but gay, you need to read the books by KJ Charles, specifically the Doomsday books. And the first one is called The Secret Lives of Country Gentlemen. And the second is called A Nobleman's Guide to Seducing a Scoundrel. And I read both of them in like 4 days.
Love that. Aren't romance books just so fun?
Yes, I love romance. I got to speak at Romance Con, like in multiple panels this year. It was a wild thing. I loved it. Let's see.
I'm glad that you said something non-intellectual. I'm happy.
You know what? There's a lot intellectual about romance books. I will challenge you.
Yeah,
I think romance is political because anytime
I don't disagree. Okay, so first of all, relax. Okay, you need to step on down from the soapbox, dog.
I also read a book that I think is going to become an annual reread. It was a really short book. It's like 200 pages. It's really short. You'll read it in an afternoon. It's called The Saturday Night Ghost Club by Craig Davidson.
Yes. Oh, I forgot I read that. That was one of my favorite books this year.
Yeah.
I forgot I read that. That was so unbelievably good.
It was so good.
Did I recommend that to you?
I recommended that to you.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember who. I just randomly found it in a bookstore. And I think I messaged you like in October because I read it like for like a Halloween week read, and I was like, you've got to read this. And it's like ghost hunting, but it's like also how ghosts are people and ghosts are memories and how we're haunted by our past, but there might also be ghosts.
About this. There was the paranormal story, but there was also about
this kid and his uncle
coming to terms with the fact that we can love people and also not understand why they are the way that they are.
And you remember that there's these special kind of strange and beautiful years in our lives, sometime between like 9 and 12, when we are no longer completely innocent, but we haven't really started to grasp the concept of like a world outside of ourselves and our lived experience. And the fact that like, you know, the people in our lives, our parents, our grandparents, our aunts, our uncles, they all existed long before we came along. Like we haven't quite gotten fully there yet. And that's around that magical age when we start coming to those terms that the world is bigger and older than us. And that includes all of the people around us, and starting to realize that like there are conversations happening around you that happened around you when you were a little younger, 6, 7, 8, that people would have conversations right in front of you, and they felt comfortable doing that because they know you didn't understand. And that's the age when you start understanding. You start picking up on some of those key words.
And that's what this book is about.
It's this like special magic. It's paranormal and it's ghosts and it's ghost hunting and it's weird and there's aliens and cults and all sorts of stuff. But it's also just about that time.
Yeah,
when you start realizing the world is bigger than yourself.
Yeah, and just kind of the very real story of like what it means to be alive and recognize that like people are way more complicated than you and I will ever really understand, you know?
Yeah, I loved it. And how fully we can love those in our lives, even though they are broken
Broken,
people,
yeah,
even though they're
broken,
broken beyond
complicated.
repair, they're never going to be who they were again, and how we still love them and how we love them
Mhm.
through it.
And
And
how we still show up for them. And, like, you
yes.
know, the mom
Oh
and
God,
dad in
that
that
scene
book
at
are
the
such
end
a
with his
great
mom in the
example.
graveyard and what she does with her brother, and it was just so beautiful.
It
And
was.
like, and the narrator of the book is him as an adult,
Don't
and like
looking back.
he's, oh God, it's so good. I think that's going to be an annual reread for me. Like around October, I always like reread The Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury. I'm going to add this one to my like annual rereads
So good.
list.
It was
And
so good.
it's 200 pages. You're going to read it in an afternoon. If you do the audiobook sped up, you're going to do it over, a couple of
Yeah,
hours.
I
It's
think I literally read it in one nursing
yeah.
session of my
It's not long, and it reads fast. Like it's not only not a long book, but it reads really fast. I
yeah,
loved it.
it
Okay.
was very
What is what is the best new thing you learned, or the best scientific discovery? Like, what is the best new thing that you learned this year?
You're not gonna like my answer.
You're not gonna like mine.
Yours is gonna be so just you, and I'm gonna
Oh,
be so
shut
me.
up.
No, and I'm gonna be so me about it. The alien stuff
Oh, we
has
didn't learn
been,
anything.
first of all, yes, we did. This year
Oh
we got the
God.
confirmation from the CIA that they've covered up unidentified flying objects.
We
So,
have
first
gotten
of all,
that like every year for the last 20 something years. There's been a congressional hearing every year, and every time they do it, they make some big deal. Like, we heard about this back like 10 years ago.
okay, first of all, you're saying things that nobody cares about. Second of all, on that note of you
There's
gaslighting me here
aliens in the
today, you're
ocean.
gaslighting
Okay,
me.
do
You're
I still have to
gaslighting
go
me.
to work? No, is my mortgage still
They
due?
also found a mysterious object on Mars recently. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't. What's that?
It is. That's a great question. It's some sort of like ship. Like, and when I say ship, I'm using this in terms of like I don't know another word because they don't know what it is. It could be a crashed satellite. It could be a crashed spaceship. Like, they don't know what it is. They don't have an explanation for it, but it's something made. It's not natural that they found on Mars. And that was a very cool find. So yeah, that's my thing. What's your thing? It's going to be something about amoebas or something. Go on, tell us how smart you are.
Okay, this is the only like I have been doing a lot of research for book
Right.
projects. And I have been in a space for the last few years where I have been deeply researching emotions and their purpose. Like I'm, talking about grief. And last year I did a really cool interview with a researcher around the importance of anger and how it's something that we evolved to feel, but it actually has a
Mm-hmm.
purpose and it makes us better decision makers. It helps,
Mm-hmm.
like, being angry helps us solve problems. But this year, I have a book coming out next year called Where Did Everybody Go? It's a book about the loneliness epidemic. So I've been studying loneliness and all of these big and small emotions surrounding it. And I found out that loneliness, like anger, is something that we evolved to feel. And it actually has an evolutionary purpose, just like hunger and
Mm-hmm.
thirst. Like, it is as integral to our survival as a species as hunger and thirst. So humans we didn't evolve wings, we didn't evolve scales, we didn't
Right.
evolve tough skin, we didn't evolve fangs. Well, like, our survival is purely dependent on other humans. We only survive when we work together. When we form groups. When we form groups, we survive. When we take care of one another, we survive. And humans evolved the feeling of loneliness. So if hunger tells us that we need to find sustenance, and if thirst tells us that we need to find hydration, loneliness tells us that we need to find other people. It is an
Oh,
evolutionary push. It's an internal evolutionary push, and we need to find other people. And I thought that was the coolest thing. I think it's so cool when you start learning about kind of like like behavioral sciences, the science of emotions and stuff, like how all of them have a purpose, which is something that like anybody who's ever watched one of the Inside Out movies knows. Like sadness helps us to process things. Joy is there for like all of these things are there for a purpose. And I just think as somebody that grew up with a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of being afraid of my own mind, I think finding out that some of what we feel, like Inside Out 2, you know, one of the main characters is Maya Hawke's anxiety. Anxiety is now a big character. But like finding out that there's a purpose for all of those, like making friends with the darker part of ourselves, that's that shadow work, baby. That's that understanding and unpacking of self. And I thought that was really, really, really cool. So that's
cool.
that part.
All
I'm
right,
sorry. It's not amoebas.
No, I redact. It wasn't amoebas. That was cool.
That was really cool. I did learn a lot of other stuff too, but you have to read my book next year.
Talking, and they did find out what the thing is on Mars, and it's human trash. Yep.
We've been sending our trash to Mars?
No. It's stuff that like has come off of like spaceships.
Oh, so it's like when an astronaut drops a screwdriver and it floats off into space, like it eventually hits Mars. It
goes somewhere eventually. Isn't that interesting?
That's
so here we go. I googled it because I was like, you know, now that we're talking about this, I wonder if they did figure out what that was. Because I mean, it's got to be something, right? It's not gonna be like,
you know, what we didn't talk about is the obelisks that have been popping up everywhere around the world. Yeah, that's this year and last year. They keep popping up.
Last year, they do.
They keep popping up.
Somebody's fucking with us.
Oh, I think there's a lot of copycats. I think there's a lot of people fucking with everybody. But I just, you know,
it's fun.
I love the mystery of it. Keep going.
Part of being alive is the mystery of things.
Yes.
If we stop finding things fantastical and exciting and mysterious, then what is the point of being alive?
Speaking of the point of being alive, what is let's solve the world's problems. What is one major thing that you want society to leave behind in 2024?
Parasocial relationships.
You stole mine.
Oh, look at us, twin brain. Obviously, you and I have very different audiences, and you and I have very different experiences in what we consume when it comes to the internet, etc. He won't even open my reels, you guys, because he doesn't want.
I don't want your algorithm. You have your algorithm is messed up.
No, it's not. My algorithm has been built brick by brick and stone by stone. Okay. And if
she's like
an Indian man saying, "My life, my rules," I don't want it.
Brick one, salad fingers. Brick one.
Yeah. Okay. I've been fucked up right up here since 2006, baby. Anyway. So aside from that, parasocial relationships is something that has deeply affected me as a creator. I know it's affected you as a creator. And it's also been interesting to watch as a consumer of media. And it's one of those things where if you don't know someone, like if you don't have my phone number, probably it's not appropriate for you to be talking to me like we're best friends and having an opinion about things in my life because you most likely don't even know my kid's gender, nevertheless their age. So why are we having opinions on stuff?
I get that, and you've gotten this too. You also have a large audience, and especially just because of the topic, like you will talk about death, and that is a special interest for you, and that is something that comes up in your work a lot. That's part of your next book. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk about that. That's fine.
So, but like, you know, we do talk about sensitive subjects. I talk about big social problems on my platform, and people
talk about hard stuff sometimes.
Hard stuff, and it makes people want to reach out and share things with you. And I'm very grateful that people feel so interesting of me. I value that. I'm holding space for the lyrics to Defying Gravity about that. Like I don't discount how big that is, but I also, like, I've talked to, a lot of this happened for me really fast in the last couple of years, and I I don't know how to hold it, and I don't think that I can. Like, people send very long, very deeply personal messages about their own trauma and their own grief and their own loss and their own yada yada, and I love that, and I appreciate that, and I understand why it's being sent to me, and I don't necessarily want it to stop, but when people turn it to like when my Let Kids Be Kids video came out, that did big numbers. That was big. That was my own little cultural moment. But like, people would message me and say that I saved their life. I don't know how to hold that.
Yeah.
That's big. That's huge. That's such a heavy thing for me to hear. And I don't, like, I'm so glad that you're still here. And I'm so glad that I could help. And I love that. That feels so big. Like, some of the things that people say that, like, oh, well, I'm doing X because of you, and I'm doing Y, or I did, I was able to get through this thing because I read what you said here, or I read this poem, or I saw this video, or I whatever. I love that I'm there for you. I love that my work is there for you.
I think that's really important. I think that what you just said is really important. I love that my work is there for you.
Yeah.
But I am not my work. And I think that is important, because yes, is my work one of the most important things in my life? Yeah. 1,000%. But my life, the things that are important to me on my daily basis are my family, my children, my friends. It's one of those things that I've spent the last couple of years learning with my friends, and I know you've experienced this, of saying, how can I support you right now? But sincerely, or simultaneously.
No, I just love that the way you phrase that sentence sounds like I'm not one of your friends. So I've been talking with my friends, and also you.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
No. I know that you meant that because that's the way that you phrase things to me. How can I support you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is, do you just need me to listen, or do you want my feedback?
Yeah.
And
that's a big one.
That's what I do with my friends.
And what she does with me is sends me the middle finger emoji and says, "Get wrecked."
Yeah, that sucks. Don't feel like that's a me problem. But the thing is that with my friends, these are the people I would do anything for. These are people that I have a very intimate personal relationship with. We have that boundary where I'm saying, do you want to just trauma dump on me right now? Or simultaneously, hey, what you're going to say really matters to me, and I want to give this the right amount of space and time, and I don't have that right now, so can I call you later? And that's something I do with my friends. And people that know my work want sometimes to cross that boundary. And it's very interesting. And we see it in other things on much grander scales with like celebrities and stuff. But I do think that people who exist on the internet creating content like you and I do, because we're in people's phones, they feel so much more closer than like on movies.
Yeah, they do. That's the thing, is like, movie stars feel very out of reach. TV stars feel like your buddy. And then like, people on social media are just like your coworker.
My friend.
They're like your buddy. Yeah.
And I think that it's kind of like you said, is that it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because like, I am glad that I can be that space for you in whatever capacity it is. But like, my email is public information, so let's perhaps not abuse that by sending me.
Well, yeah, it's just like, I love that I've said something that you resonate with. I love that my work means something to you, and it's not that I don't care about you as a person. I do. There's only so much that I can carry. Like, there's only so much that I can carry, and especially when I'm going through my own stuff. And sometimes, like people will share deeply personal things. People will share deeply personal things with you, and then like get mad if you don't immediately respond to them. And it's like, okay, friend, you have no idea what's going on in my life. You have no idea. And I just like, one, you DM'd me. I'm not gonna answer a DM because once I do, it's a permanently open door and I can't shut it unless I like block you or something. And I don't think that should be the way that we do this.
Yeah.
Please email me if you want me to, yada yada. I just like, I just there's a lot of boundaries there. And
there's a lot of
people get really parasocial really fast. Like when you answer a DM, I'm 3 messages away from either seeing your dick or you are I don't know, people just get way too friendly with people.
They get way too serious way too fast. And I think my problem, and then when I say it's my problem, it's that I recognize this about my content style and I'm not going to change it because it's what I do and I'm okay with it. But my content style is not overly curated. I am like waking up at 2 a.m, hair's like this, filming a video because that's who I am. And that's my way that I present myself on the internet, and I'm okay with that, right? But because I do that, people feel like they get this super unfiltered, super raw version of me. And to an extent, that is 100% true. But then they think that they like know me well enough to like give me advice. And I'm like, no.
Well, and you also deal with this in your professional life, which I'm only mentioning because you've started opening up about that on social media.
I have, yeah.
Where you will work a tarot hotline or have worked a tarot hotline in the past.
I work currently 4.
Yeah. And I mean, folks get really attached to you. They don't know you. That you're not their friend.
I have one specific client that I can think of off the top of my head, and he is a very nice person. He's very nice, but he's never asked me a single thing about myself, and nor should he. He's paying for my time by the minute. Like, I'm in no way do I think he should be. This isn't an upset.
Oh, not even by the hour, by the minute. Ooh.
Literally by the minute.
Ooh, Robyn.
Call me Miss Cleo.
How much is 5 minutes of your time, Robyn?
5 minutes of my time, depending on where you call me from, is about $20.
Oh.
So
I will pay you $20 to be quiet for 5 minutes.
$5,000 will shut me up permanently. Anyway, he's this really nice gentleman, but I worry about him because he doesn't know anything about me, but then thinks that we're friends.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a line there where I have to like redirect on the boundaries and be like, hey, I'm not your pal. And it's something that comes up a lot. And I think because of my day job, it does make it easier for me to deal with in this sort of context as well, because I'm pretty good at like being like, nope, we're not doing that. Thank you.
Mine is similar in tone, but billionaires. My original was going to be parasocial relationships with billionaires, but
let's just call it what it is. Taylor Swift is not your friend.
Okay, Taylor Swift is not your friend. Elon Musk. Neither is Jeff Bezos. Neither is Oprah.
You know what? I don't feel like Jeff Bezos is anyone's friend. I don't think anybody thinks that about Jeff Bezos, but they do about Elon Musk, and they definitely do about Oprah. And I think it's important. Elon Musk and Taylor Swift are 2 really good examples of what I'm about to say. Somebody phrased for me once about Taylor Swift. I think I saw it on a tweet or something. Like, nobody said it directly to me. I consumed this content somewhere where they said Taylor Swift portrays herself as a teen idol and she is 35 years old. And that, when I read that, I was like, not that I was a fan of hers to begin with, but I was like, ooh, that's interesting. Elon Musk portrays himself as the fresh out of college, successful hot guy with cool new ideas that are going to revolutionize an already thriving industry. And he actually has not hit the mark that often at all.
I don't want to dwell on Taylor Swift because I don't want this to turn into like a I hate Taylor Swift moment because I don't feel anything about her personally. But
think about her.
I will say, just talking about Taylor specifically, I did hear a podcast earlier this year that just clicked so many things for me. It was the Code Switch podcast where they did a special on Taylor Swift. They had like, it was all women of color. And it was like people who'd gotten PhDs and written a thesis on Taylor Swift, and people who had like, but all of these women of color coming together to like discuss this illusion of the eternal girlhood of Taylor Swift and this idealized version of white women girlhood that can last forever. And it was like, what put a lot of things in perspective for me is she and Adele are the same age, 1 year apart.
Mm-hmm.
Adele's
a year younger, isn't she?
I don't remember which one's older, but Adele has never, ever been treated with the like infantilized girlhood thing that Taylor has.
I think that's my problem with Taylor Swift specifically. I don't feel actually anything about her music whatsoever. I
liked a lot of her songs.
Taylor Swift.
Many years. I loved Folklore. I thought Folklore was some of the greatest American songwriting we've heard in years. I was a fan, but like, there's just like a lot of communities have like a lot like communities of color, queer people have noticed her like as her just rocket in her ascension these last like 5 or 6 years into this just untouchable cultural phenomenon. The people that she made, like the communities that she made a lot of money from and who helped her establish her bona fides, were just left behind. Like, she used drag queens during her Lover era. She used a lot of drag. She used a lot of queer people to help her kind of redefine herself. And then as soon as drag started becoming criminalized, even in just like Tennessee, she was nowhere to be seen.
Right.
And I think that's just my but my greater point about billionaires, generally speaking, is I think it's a moral failing to become a billionaire. I think that if you become a billionaire, you have exploited so many people to become a billionaire. But like, two, there's so much good that could do, and they just aren't doing any good with it.
I don't understand, and this is something that I will never understand. I'm never going to get the opportunity to understand. So, like, take this with the grain of salt that I mean it. But I will never understand making it to a point of being super comfortable and not giving back. And
I don't get it.
The problem is,
how much do you need as a person?
Billionaire culture.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it, but billionaire culture, the societal culture that is around billionaires, for whatever reason, we godify these people, and they somehow become equal parts overly criticized, and I think for the wrong things, and under criticized for things that they're doing that are just like horrific and bad and exploitative. And I find it really, really fascinating, because it's almost like I want it in influencer speak. There's not affluential, that's not the word I'm looking for, aspirational influencers. They are selling you an idea. That's what travel bloggers do. That they're not actually reviewing some like amazing private island because you might go there. They're selling you an idea that is escapism. And I feel as though these billionaires, we want that. We want this ability to not work 7 days a week and 70 hours a day or a week and all this stuff. We want to be able to just do whatever we want without consequence, and that this is the idea that they're selling us. And instead of recognizing that that is like some morally bankrupt BS, you know what I mean? It's one of those things that I couldn't imagine getting to a point of like owning a home. Doesn't even have to be like a crazy nice home, but just like owning, let's take the crazy nice home, a $4 million home somewhere rural, right? So that's like crazy money.
She's not subtweeting me. I do not own a $4 million rural home.
No, I do. I'm not subtweeting her. I know people are being so weird about you owning a ranch. Hey, it's called a mortgage, you freaks. Anyway.
Also, I live in an unincorporated township. Like, it's not like
Yeah, you don't need to explain
my
yourself. People that are
yeah.
giving you flack for that are like,
I live where
I,
nobody
I
wants
say
to
this,
live. That's why I can
I'm gonna
afford
say
the
this, and
property.
it might sound sarcastic, and I don't want it to, so I want to say that from the, like, I'm saying this with nothing but sincerity in my heart. I am so sorry that you're in a financial situation that someone having a mortgage seems rich to you. Because having a mortgage, you can get that with putting no money down, and it's just like paying rent. And I am so sorry for you that, one, you're in a situation that you cannot afford that, and two, that you have had some form of upbringing that has given you financial illiteracy that you think you can never have that. That makes me so truly empathetic and sorrowful for you.
Well,
But
and
it
that also,
doesn't
just that
mean
interaction recently just kind of highlighted for me the distance because I grew up really, really rural, like really, really, really rural. And I live in a metro area
right.
where that I only ever saw in movies. Like what I
Mm,
thought Chicago was growing up is just it's I had no I mean I it was this fictional city on a hill somewhere, but all
right.
cities were like that to me. Like it
Right.
just felt like so far away. Like it just like the idea that people had neighbors was just a foreign concept to me. The idea that
Right.
there were sidewalks, the idea that there were these schools where hundreds of people went. My entire school, K through 12, was less than 1,000 people, and it was all on the same campus. Like I was in the largest graduating class that my school had ever seen, and we had 61, 62 kids graduate that year. The largest graduating class my school had ever had, ever. So there is a distance between rural areas, which cover a lot of territory. They cover a lot of ground on the country. That's a lot of the country. That's the majority of the country are these places where nobody wants to live. This, flyover country, right? And people in suburban areas and cities where all of the people live, which is the majority of the
And
population live in
I
these.
think that that's what a lot of people struggle with. Like, I live in California. Okay, the average home in my hometown, the town that I grew up in right now, the house I grew up in, is last sold for $950,000, and I grew up in a track home, like, not nice,
And
not bad,
people are
but not
not used
nice.
to the areas that are like six
Right, and like,
hours away from anything you would even consider a
right.
place that
So
you would
where I
want to
live
go
right
to.
now,
Yeah,
the town I live in only has a post office.
sure.
You can buy 10 acres of land still in California for 30 grand.
I was going to say, people are not aware that there are so many parts of this country where you could get a house and land for about as much as like a Nissan Sentra.
Right, and that was the exact example I was going to give. My car costs more money than that plot of land.
Like
And
it's
I think
just,
that,
there's such a disconnect. And I
and I
agree
don't have a nice car, preface.
wholeheartedly
Like, I
that if
like my
you
car,
want
but
to be
it's not
able to
fancy.
I agree wholeheartedly that we have a housing problem in this country. I agree wholeheartedly that you should be able. We have a wage problem. We are not paying people enough. We have a wealth disparity. We have a home ownership problem. People should be able to own a home if they want to. Some people want to rent. Some people like that relationship. Some people don't want to be responsible for a burst pipe and all of that. I totally get that and respect it. I miss it
Mhm.
sometimes, but I, but but people who can buy a home, but they live in flyover area or unincorporated townships where it's difficult to even get somebody to come pick up your garbage because they don't think that your house exists. Like, those people are not your enemy. And also, they are not living a
Right.
lifestyle that you think they
And they're
are.
also, yeah. And I think, and also, like, I have a friend, a really good friend of mine, who bought a home in San Francisco, which is notoriously the second most expensive city in the United States, because it was on foreclosure.
Mhm.
And she happened to win an auction because people happened to not show up that day. And she got a San Francisco home. I don't know how she got so lucky, for $50,000.
No. Did
So,
she
but my point
immediately
is
turn around and sell that for a
nope,
cool five?
because she wants to live. She wants to live there, so she's
Sure.
been working to
Yeah.
fix it up and make it a
Is it
nice
a
home for
closet? Is
herself.
it somebody's storage
It
closet?
is a 2-bedroom in the Mission. It was a shithole. Okay, so let's be really transparent that it was a real fixer-upper, and
But
she's still
still,
fixing it up.
2-bedroom in San Francisco.
In the Mission is crazy. I mean, it's
That's
a pack house, but
insane.
that's not the point. And the point is that there's all these little nuances that if I were to tell you, my friend owns a home in San Francisco,
100%.
it's easy to automatically assume she
Yes.
paid $3-4 million for this.
Yeah.
The reality is she got incredibly fucking lucky on an auction of a house that was nearly burned down that she's been working the last 4 years to fix.
Yeah.
And so I think the internet does this really amazing thing of giving us this gift. So going back to our whole point, right? Giving us this gift of hearing different people's perspectives and even sometimes getting a little, chunk of their life and what that might look like and where they might live. And I think we need to start remembering that these are people, and people are not Elon Musk. People, the average person on the internet, no matter how many followers they have, are not Kylie Jenner.
Oh my God.
And
Even if you I have friends with
influencers.
millions of followers, and they are still the money, honey. Let me tell you,
Paycheck to paycheck.
let me
Not
tell you that a follower
everybody.
count is not money. Let me just tell you
Yeah.
that right now. Can
Yeah.
it be a little pocket money? Could it be a little bit of money? Sure. But it's like you having a part-time job on the weekends outside of your day job, which is basically what this is for me. It's a part-time job on the weekends, and some months I work more hours and make a little bit more money.
Even you take me where what I sell on Instagram, tarot readings,
are
is
her boobs, are her feet.
tits.
Her feet.
And for the low price of $500, I will show you my Barney Rubble toes. Let me know. Anyway, but what I
cannot wait for somebody to take you up on that.
For $500 you can see my Barney Rubble toes, baby. I'll send them to you. I'm not gonna do weird shit with it, but I will send you photos. So hit me up. Anyway,
listen, for $500, she'll put them in mashed potatoes for you.
I will not.
She will put those.
That comes with a premium.
She will put those piggy. She will. What are those where they mash a birthday cake? She will.
Honestly, okay, I might do that for $500 only because that sounds really fun. Imagine smashing a cake.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
For $500 plus the cost of cake.
The point is that even with me, where I sell tarot readings through my social media, I still have a day job.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I do tarot readings through my day job, but my social media income is like fun money.
Yeah. I mean, if you say that up, it was very helpful with us finally being able to fix the giant holes in our floors. I was finally able to fix the toilets that were literally sinking through my floor because it had rotted out so bad. Like, that's what social media helped pay for.
Right.
And none of that puts any of us closer to being a billionaire.
We had that fire this year, and I was in the fortunate position that my co-host of my podcast started a GoFundMe for me because there was no internet, and like that kept me alive for that month. You know what I mean? It was one of those things where it was like, luckily we had some savings, but yeah. I think that people need to remember that followers are not money.
No, they are not. What is your favorite life-saving gadget? Your life-changing gadget? What's your favorite life-changing?
Defibrillator.
What is like a gadget that came into your life this year that you swear by, you cannot live without? Some tiny something that you love.
Do we need to have, I was going to ask you this and I forgot to before we recorded this. Did it need to have a price cap?
No.
Okay. My favorite life-saving gadget this year was the thing I'm recording on, which is the OBS Spot. The OBS Spot? I don't know. You know the program OBS. It is a streaming program for people on like Twitch and stuff like that. He's Googling it. This is so embarrassing. Anyway, OBS has come out with cameras specifically for streaming. Yes.
Somebody buy me an OBS spot right the hell now.
It's amazing. That's what I've got. I use it for everything. I use it for my podcast. I use it for recording videos. I use it for hanging out with clients.
Rich. Wow, Robyn is so rich.
I got mine refurbished, so relax. I think I spent like $300 on mine.
Wow. Robyn is so out of touch and wealthy. Robyn has fancy webcam money for her piggies, her Barney Rebel toes, so that she can squish those sheet cakes.
So for the low price of $500, you can see my little Barney Rebel piggies. Oink, oink.
Plus the cost of the cake. You're not buying the cake.
Well, yeah, I'm not buying the cake. I'm not going out of pocket.
Okay, now what kind of cakes? Like, would you do an ice cream cake, or is that going to be too cold on the piggies?
No, that's too cold. That's crazy. Then my feet are going to look red.
Do you have flavors that you won't do?
Well, first of all, I've never done one. Just so that we were very clear about this.
She's lying. She's lying. She's lying.
I'm not lying. But I'm ready to get started on my piggy business. So you guys, listen, I've never done one, but I am strapped in and ready to do some piggy sales.
She will stomp on Fudgy the whale. She will punish.
I'll even stomp on a balloon. I know some people are into that. Let's step on some balloons.
That's too loud.
Boys.
That's too loud.
That's what earplugs are for.
Okay, on the other end of things, my life-changing gadget is this bad boy right here.
What is that?
This is a timer.
It's a this is so... Oh my god. Why are we two ends of a very deranged spectrum?
Okay, so I don't know if you know this about me. I'm an author. I write books for money.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they even good? Probably not. Let's just assume not. Continue.
So what I love about this is it has 5, 10, 30, 60 on here, and you just like set it down and it automatically goes to the 10-minute, and it really helps. Yeah, or like automatic, like 30, and then it like counts down, and you can move it to like any side you want. And I am very obsessed with this. It helps.
That is good.
It helps me when I'm drafting. So like, see, it's like, okay, 10. And then it starts counting down. And then you know, amazing. For like, okay, so I'm going to do some speed drafting or speed edits or something. So I'm going to do 10 minutes. Then I'm going to switch to the 5 for a quick break. Then I'm coming back. It has kept me on task. I love this thing. I love it so much. I have gotten so much work done because of this thing. I love it. I love it. It changed my writing life. I love it
too. You're going to have to send me the link for it. The link will be in the bio, everyone. He's going to send you the link in the bio. If you could just click to his Amazon storefront. Sorry, I didn't mean to drag you.
What is the dumbest thing you did for money in 2024? I did a bunch of Amazon lives.
The dumbest thing I did for money in 2024, nothing, because everything I do for money is appropriate, good, and fun.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't know. Any final thought? Let's see. I like this. What's something society got right in 2024? What was a win for humanity in 2024? You go first, because I can't think of one.
I can think of one, and I don't know if people are going to like it. And if you don't like it, don't follow me.
They don't. Don't worry.
No, I mean, like, after this, when they all go, wow, she's so cool, fun, and exciting, I would love to follow her. I'm going to be so parasocial on her because she's my mom's friend. When that happens, if you don't like what I'm about to say, don't follow me, because I don't think we'll see eye to eye on many things. But that is the collective banding like together over the Luigi Mangione thing, because what murder, okay? But I will say, I think that regardless of what you stand for with the murder stuff, I'm not saying people should die, but what I will say is it's got the conscious collective talking about
that is very
issues.
True. I think that,
regardless of if you're conservative, liberal, somewhere in between, we can all agree that these people are parasites, and it has got a conversation happening for all of us because we're all affected by it.
Yeah.
It's for once something that, regardless of what your political affiliation is, unless of course you see yourself in a billionaire CEO, I'm sorry, millionaire, I was corrected. Millionaire CEO, regardless of the fact that he wrote the book on letting people die during COVID, regardless of that, of course, I think it's got us all talking, and I
It
think
does
it's
have us all
important and
talking.
good.
And I think that politicians and anybody running an organization in a socioeconomic sector, a social sector, so finance, healthcare, like the things where people are really hurting right now, I think that if any of those people, the change makers, the actual people with real power, if any of those people are not paying attention right now to the general social shrug, like, oh, that sucks, darn, thoughts and prayers are not covered by this plan, so sorry. I think that they are doing themselves and society a disservice if they are not hearing people right now.
The thing is that I don't condone any form of violence.
No,
That's
I
not
don't
who I
think anybody
am.
does.
But
I think that we
I
need
think
to.
that if we've learned anything from
Mhm.
school shootings,
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
that you just need to give one person enough feeling of power that they're going to go do an atrocity. Okay. And the thing is if you're not paying attention to how society is reacting to this murder, then what you're doing is you are setting up more people to feel emboldened and empowered to go and do more acts of violence. And how many of those is it going to take for you to give a shit? Because I'll be honest, we're on how many school shootings this year and nobody seems to care? I've got a huncheroo, if you will, that a couple more CEOs going out and suddenly things are going to change.
You know what? I did
Rich
remember
man, poor
something
man
that we did
politics.
get right this year. We took InfoWars away from Alex Jones.
Thank God for that. They're poisoning the frog water. They're to the water to
They're
make the
making the
frogs.
frogs gay. They're making the frogs gay.
I forgot about that. That happened this year. This year has been 10 years. Okay,
This
it's been
year has been,
decade.
this month, we haven't had Christmas yet.
I know.
We have not had Christmas yet.
I literally wrapped all of my Christmas presents like 4 days ago, and I was like, "Well, it's this weekend," and my husband's like, "Sure isn't."
They are in
Sure
they are
isn't.
in the spare bedroom, and my husband is not allowed to go in there. They are all in
What'd you get? What'd you
bags.
get your husband? Tell me what you got him. He's not gonna listen to this. He doesn't listen to your. He texted
You
me.
will
He's like,
text
"Don't
him.
listen."
You will text him and tell him.
I am
You will.
not a Grinch. I am many things, but I am not a Grinch.
She is a liar, is what she is. She
I
will
am
text my.
not.
She will.
I
You're
will
right.
not
She
text
won't text
him.
my husband. She'll FaceTime my husband and say,
I will on Christmas. What about that?
"You
Can I promise
are
to wait till
a
Christmas?
liar. You are a liar. You
Wait.
just want to come see our
I'm
tamales.
not.
You are so
I
jealous of our
do. Those look
tamales.
so fucking good with the
Yeah.
banana leaves. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
god. Okay, tell me what you got him. Go on. I'll tell you what I got Frank.
I got him presents, is what I got. I got him the gift of
What did
me.
you?
Have you seen me? I got him the gift of this haircut.
Okay,
We remembered we had bone structure under all of that hair.
couldn't be me, bitch. Could not be me. This whole situation. She's
Hmm.
puffy.
Look at
Ooh.
that. Look at the jaw.
Well,
Look
I'm
at the
going to tell you what I got
relationship.
Frank because I know he's not going to listen to this. But my
Wow. So Frank
husband
doesn't listen to my show.
doesn't listen to
Wow.
podcasts at all. That man has got ADHD. What do you expect?
He doesn't even listen to your
you,
show and he edits it.
I literally. Francis has a Fujifilm camera, and I got him
Oh,
an
I
X
asked for
mount.
an Instax, a Fujifilm instant camera, because
Oh, the
I miss
love
those.
that.
I want one. I want the
We are.
wide.
Look, I've got one right here. I've got the Instax wide right here.
I want the wide
We.
shot.
That's what this is. This is an
Oh.
Instax wide.
Oh.
This is the old version because
Oh, I was gonna say the newer version looks flatter.
we have a film. We are a film photo family and have been since before I even met Francis, and I made him adopt my lifestyle.
Oh, I had every Polaroid. I had the flip up, like the old school Polaroid, but
Do
I
you
also
remember the
had
ones that were
the
like the sheets
iZone,
with the long,
the iZone camera, and then you cut them off and they were stickers, and I lined my TV with them, and I lined
Yep, I had that
everything
too.
with those. And I had a little mini photo album keychain with
So
those,
cute.
and
And your parents
yeah.
were shocked that you were gay. That's crazy.
I have always loved instant
So when you were
photography.
like, Mom and Dad, I was gay, they were like, what? But all
I
straight little boys love their
I have always
mini
loved instant
Instax
photography.
iZone.
Like film photography,
Yeah.
I'm just not good at. I'm just not good at it, and I don't want to be good at it. I don't want to learn that skill. I have enough life skills.
I don't think that, well, Frank's amazing at film photography, but I like candid photography. So
I do,
instant
and I
film
think the
and
instant
disposable film.
photography, there's just a special magic about it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
Anyways,
we
I'm so
are
sorry.
huge consumers of that.
Yeah.
So we have a ton, like we have a whole memory test filled with instant camera film and disposable film and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Frank has a Fujifilm camera, like regular camera. I got him a disposable film mount lens for the camera, so it'll do disposable film quality photos, but on a mirrorless camera.
You know what I wish that we would leave behind in 2024? I started seeing, because disposable cameras became so ubiquitous and they came back in vogue. Like Gen Z has been really loving disposable cameras, and they like brought them back in a big way the last like couple of years. I have started seeing marketing calling just regular cameras non-disposable cameras.
No, they haven't.
Yes.
I reject that. I rebuke it in the name
And I'm
of
just
the
like,
Lord.
my friend, my dear good friend, that is just called a camera. You don't need the qualifier. Cameras,
You could even call it a digital camera if you
digital
wanted to like give it
camera,
a qualifier.
but these had film. These are just film cameras. It's not. You don't need to qualify that it's a
No, it's just a film
non-disposable film
camera.
camera. It's
So photography is a really big deal in our house, and we've got a bunch of cameras, like a bunch of cameras. We do like we go
and they are
to
all aimed at their bed where she steps on Fudgy the
him.
whale.
Yeah. And for $500, if you would like to subscribe to my footy OnlyFans, it's just pictures of my feet. I bet you I could find a market for that. I've got real Barney Rubble toes. I bet people would be into that. And you know what? If that is the version of me that they need, then I'm here for it. Let me know. You guys comment below and let me know if this is.
Don't do that.
Below
No,
in detail.
Don't do that. Go to her channel. Go to her channel, Coffee and Cauldrons.
Comment below.
Nope.
Don't go to Coffee and Cauldrons. That's a witchcraft podcast, and we're professionals at Coffee and Cauldrons, okay?
I've interviewed Pulitzer Prize winners. Shut entirely up. I am not having.
Did they know that they were coming on here? Did they know they were being interviewed? You know, Mom, stopping somebody in a public like wash house is not an interview. Just because you had a microphone on you and you were recording does not mean that wasn't a crime. Pulitzer Prize winners. God. Anyway, comment below. Let us know if you want to see my feet for an amount of money, a subscription service, if you will. And I'm going to step on cake. I'm going to do this for real. And Dawn has now incited a light within me that I'm going to do it.
Incited? Oh, God. I haven't incited anything in years. Oh, man.
The riot is my feet. And I'm going to make you share it on your socials because it's here on this podcast today.
We have gone so long. So I want to ask you, what are you looking forward to next year? What are you doing next year that you're excited to tell people about? Maybe something public and something that like you're just personally looking forward to.
Well, I hit all my New Year's resolutions this year, which is the first time in years that I actually killed it. And so next year, I'm looking forward to continuing that momentum, which is exciting. I've been in a really good headspace. I got my diagnosis.
She does mean the glory hole kind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got my diagnosis of obsessive compulsive disorder this year, and it's totally
that's true.
My life. It's totally changed my life. and it's given me like all these tools and stuff, and that means I can set myself like actual goals this year, and I'm gonna do them, and I'm excited about it.
I'm also going to be clipping that out. I'm going to do them, and I'm excited about it.
That's fine. Clip it, baby.
Yeah.
Welcome to feetfinder.com. I am Robyn Valentine.
Oh my God. Is that a real website? Are you on there? Oh my God.
Yeah. No. What do you mean? Is that a real? God, we're on different sides of the internet. Yes, Feet Finder's a real thing.
I'm sorry. I'm on the amoebas side of the internet.
Sorry. I am on the intellectual side of the internet. We talk about things like poetry and jazz. Probably.
I need that on a t-shirt. Poetry and jazz.
Meanwhile, I'm on the side of the internet that's like, my life, my rules, my style, my attitude.
And it's all in that curls font. And there's a Tweety bird there. And there's a Tweety bird.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. No.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
I'm going to send you these videos. I'm going to send these, and you're going to open them for once.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are, Don.
No.
Yes, you are, because you have to understand these videos. It's these guys in India that use this sound that says that. It says, my life, my rules, my style, my attitude. But then they've like CGI'd on like a phone app, like Apache helicopters that they like turn around and punch and it explodes. And it's so good. It's so good. It's literally the quality of the internet that I come here for.
No. Tell you what, in 2025, I will watch one reel a week? A month? A week. A week.
I think a week is fair.
A week.
That's fair.
One a week. So you have to pick. You have to discern.
I will start a folder that I will save, and it will be called Unhinged Dawn Memes, and I will just send them to you, and I will send it to you every single Friday night.
Sure.
That's my resolution. Every Friday night, I'm going to send you one thing that will slowly eat away at your algorithm.
I'm so scared. I am so protective of my algorithm. It is so curated.
Mine is curated too, okay? You think
but mine's like the PBS NewsHour and like NPR politics.
Happen upon an Instagram algorithm that provides for you people that create content as though they are talking to their friend, okay? Do you think that the algorithm happens upon a bunch of people who think that they know Elon Musk and they're sending him signals? Okay? You don't just find your way accidentally on conspiracy theory TikTok.
Yeah, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. No, thank you.
Brick by brick, stone by stone.
No.
I have created this algorithm.
That not interested button is very well
I got a bunch of followers once because a woman had a video that happened to go viral where she said, I'm Stacey Kennison, and I just want you to know that if you are a witch or you practice witchcraft, that I don't want you in my life at all, something along those lines. And I commented on it and I said, this is really devastating to hear, Stacey. I've already got us matching necklaces with our names on it, and I'm really upset to know this. And I got a bunch of followers from that because
you also got one where you said, I'm not a Victorian ghoul.
Yeah. Because she said the olden times.
Yeah.
And it was like 1999 is the olden times.
Don't do that math.
Shut up.
Okay. So this year was the first year in many years. In fact, this was my first year ever where my husband and I took a vacation and it wasn't to see family. This was our first year in 5 years that we could take any kind of time away, because up until this year, we were working horses every single day. And this has been the first year when we've been able to not have to do that every single day. And that has been a big blessing. And so
exciting for you guys. They're rich now, everyone. Let's cancel him. He's not starving to death, and he was able to take his first vacation in 8 years. Let's cancel this rich bastard.
And I went to Galena, Illinois, and stayed in a bed and breakfast for a weekend.
You went to Galena, Illinois. The Alps of Illinois. Many people are saying this. Oh, next you're going to tell us to go to Martha's Vineyard of Illinois.
I would like to take an international trip next year, or at least see a beach. I've still never seen the ocean. So I would like to see the ocean in 2025.
That's incredibly sad for you to say out loud, but you can come to my house next year if you would like.
I'm scared of your house because you're there.
You're uninvited. You're uninvited officially. You're officially uninvited. You heard it here, folks. I invited him and I redacted it.
Your child is a little homophobic. Just a little.
Well, yeah. My child. So my friend group in real life, like the people I grew up with, they're all gay. Every single one of them falls somewhere on the alphabet.
Shocker.
I'm the stereotypical. I'm the token straight.
Yeah.
Okay, and we went down to visit some friends, and we went to a friend's kid's birthday party who has 2 moms, so lesbian couple. His uncle is there, who's a gay man, and when we came back from this family trip for a birthday party, my son would not stop saying gay drama for months. Anytime we would call Uncle Don, he'd go, gay drama. I'm like,
Accurate.
Yeah.
Accurate. So yeah, I would like to take a trip, and I do have big things coming out next year. I have two books so far coming out next year. I might have a third depending on the acquisition schedule for that book, but I have 2 books coming out next year. I have my debut novel, Verity Vox and the Curse of Foxfire, comes out in August, and I'm very excited for this. And then I have in November of next year, my nonfiction, Where Did Everybody Go? My conversation about loneliness, the loneliness epidemic.
I am 80% through writing my manuscript for my 3rd book.
And then she's going to spend the next 5 years editing it.
No, I found an editor. And I got a quote on the editing.
And on Fiverr.
A real editor.
She's going to run it through ChatGPT.
I am, and I'm going to say, let me know what you think, ChatGPT, and it will go, this is trash.
No, it's good. It's good. I'm excited.
It's a book, it's book written in 2 parts. The first book is the mundane and practical of getting comfortable with the conversations around death, and the second is a book that I'm calling Death Witchery, but it's a book on necromancy.
It's so funny because we are both writing books about death. My nonfiction after loneliness. And I've talked about this publicly for a couple of years, but I've been slowly over the last few years researching a book about death and dying and the different conversations and how those conversations are changing. It's sort of a through line. I feel like it's sort of a next conversation after Dabbler's Guide. It's sort of those people, that uprising of people who are spiritual but not religious. Like, okay, so how has our changing relationship to spirituality and religion and that reformation in society, that restructuring in society, like how has that changed our relationship to death and dying and the rituals surrounding it and our conversations surrounding it and culture and all of that. So I'm excited. I'm excited for death and loneliness and sad things in 2025.
I think it's really amazing that we are, as a culture, coming to this kind of head where we are talking about death, because for essentially the last century, we've really, really not done that, and there's been a really big shift. And I don't know. I like that. I mean, I hate that COVID is the reason that we've had this shift, but I like that we are talking about it more because I can now talk about this at the dinner table and it's not so weird and people don't want me to go home.
Well, I do want you to go home. In fact, I want you to go home.
You don't want me to go home. I would like the audience, the listeners, if we will, if we could all, as I tell my son, get your listening ears on. Don asked me to be here today. Okay? So he, in fact, really wants me here. And the fact that as I bully him, listeners, listening ears on, the bullying, he likes it. He does. And
I wish I were that sheet cake. I really wish I were that sheet cake. actually.
And if we could just, everyone fucking relax on the internet, that would be so sick and cool.
Well, Robyn Valentine, thank you so much for being here on Head on Fire.
And we're on my own podcast right now.
Thank you for telling me what is stirring your cauldron.
Thank you so much for asking.
In 2024 and into the future in 2025. If people want to find you, not that they would, but if people wanted to find you, where can they do that on social media?
Well, thank you so much for asking all about this today. The things that are stirring my cauldron. What really gets my pot turning. I appreciate that. If Maria listens to this, she's going to throw up everywhere. So I am a tired witch, literally everywhere. A tired witch, one word.
3 words. 3 words. Those are 3 words.
Like username.
Oh my God.
Is one word. The username is one word. No periods or anything. God, you're gaslighting me here. You're embarrassing me.
You're an author of multiple books.
I'm going to throw myself into a lake.
I'm going to give you $500 right now if you can tell me what a semicolon is and how to use it.
No. Ow. I know exactly what a semicolon is, okay? Because my story almost stopped and then it continued. Because I'm
okay. I can't laugh at that. That's a good
you can't laugh at everyone. Don is laughing at self-harm. Let's cancel him.
Thank you so much.
Let's gather together. We're canceling.
Thank you.
I'm a tired witch everywhere.
Thank you so much
Robyn
for
Valentine.
being here on this episode.
Listen to my podcast, Coffee and Cauldrons. You can head to our website, coffeeandcauldrons.com.
What is this? Are we Gen Z? Are we Gen Alpha? Are we a Twitch streamer?
First of all, yes, I am a Twitch streamer. So you've literally watched my streams and talked on them.
Against my will.
Freaky worm.
Against my will.
It wasn't against your will. I didn't ask you to be there.
You literally said, could you tune in? I have no followers.
That's not, nope.
I will find the screenshots. I will take screenshots. I will find.
That.
I will divulge.
Find it. Make them the header of the YouTube.
I will.
Freak. You guys, I can't believe you listened to this man drivel on.
That's not a word.
Drivel's a word.
Thank you for being here. This has been so fun for me, except for the last 90 seconds.
God, I want you to know that bullying is a crime. Online cyber attacks are not a joke. And unless
they are directed towards Robyn Valentine. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good day.
Wait, before you end us, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart.
Oh God, are you about to be? Oh God, are you about?
Mayor of a local Christmas town who's going to tell me to have sex with
Hot Frosty?
With Hot Frosty to save the town. Thank you for letting me be here.
Yeah, you're nice. I like you.
Inciting a riot.
Oh God, that's
old. Is Head on Fire.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I should get that looked at. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, bye. Thank you.